Said, that's normal. Everybody feels the same sometimes, but they keep going. The little ones out there you know about are those who give in to that feeling and go nowhere because of that. You are not one of those. You are not lazy, so get up. Yes, don't look over your shoulder for someone else. There's no one there. You are the one I am chatting with. If you can hear me, it means you are alive. Your ears are active. Your heart is busy and beating. Your blood is warm because it's been busy moving to and fro through your veins and arteries. That means you've been alive. So congratulations, you made it through yesterday and in today, even though you thought you were not going to make it. That makes you a conqueror. Yesterday's many battles couldn't stop you. So stand up and rekindle yourself. Your mind is racing about yesterday's failures. I get it. It happens sometimes, in fact, to most people. You are not alone. But remember that if you didn't die in the battles of yesterday, then don't allow its scars on your mind to restrain your win today. So wake up and decide to focus on what is on your hands today. As they say, one foot in front of another is all it takes to finish 1,000 miles journey. Stand up and just focus on putting one foot in front of the other. Left, right, and left, and right again. And you will soon realize that your little effort today is gradually adding to the achievements you made yesterday into something significant. Keep on staying up and you will survive today just as you survived yesterday. Wake up. You've been listening to the morning.
They know how to do it. I always listen to it.
Africa Media 24/7.
The need for help by the sons and daughters of men ceases only when it's all been said and done in one's life. The good need help to be better. A little help for the better makes them best, whilst the right help can toss the best into perfection. Help is thus a necessary ingredient for all the efforts of man, because regardless of who you are, you have need of something, and a little support can lighten your weight. Life is such that everyone carries the help someone needs. As such, if you don't know how helpful you can be, it means you are yet to locate the one who
The best online radio in Dallas, Fort Worth. Africa Media 24/7.
It's only natural that help becomes not just necessary, but urgent, because even a little help widens a fallen man's options. No matter how low a man sinks in the valley of failure, his crawl back up is guaranteed if he can find even a tiny straw of help to hold on to. In the ups and downs of life, many are stuck in their downturns because there's no one to give the slightest jolt to their waning trust. In this life, even the weakest movement sustained over time can gather a deserving momentum towards a desired goal. Therefore, it is only the ungrateful who discount the efforts of one who lends a hand in a man's dire moment. Help, properly timed, can change a destiny, but one ill-timed can go unappreciated. Though a man may be socialized to expect his help from outside himself, no man can help another without himself, and no man can help another who hasn't got it in himself. For help comes from within. It is as much the work of the hand that goes out as it is of the one that takes. As such, any assistant that helps a man become is one that helps him help himself. Help offered outside the support of a recipient is no help but intrusion. For in life, help is not until it's received as such. A man may intend help but create harm, and can mean support but deliver suffering. When a man is not ready to stand, he becomes heavier to lift up, but when he is already up in his mind, it's not much work to pull him up to his feet. Needing help comes to all men, but understanding when to find help is wisdom. If your way out of that situation is proving difficult, despite the many hands stretched at you, maybe it's time to check if you are helping yourself enough. A man cannot be helped if a man is not helping himself. Getting an unwilling man out of his situation is like helping an empty sack to stand. Until you give it the spine to hang on, it's guaranteed a return to status quo. As you push your way out of your situation, remember that you are the help someone needs, and most of all, you have what it takes to initiate the help you crave. Good morning. You've been
They know how to do it. I always listen to it.
Africa Media 24/7. Africa Media 24/7.
Good morning to each and everyone out there. It's another brand new day, Sunday, January 9, 2022. Morning charts. Something different, something new on your radio. First Sunday of our morning chant of the year, 2022. Yes, I have Dr. Andy Asamoah in the studios of Africa Media 247, all the way from South Africa. Did you achieve in the year 2022 and in the year 2021? If it was successful for you then, thumbs up. If it was successful in the year 2021, thumbs up to life. If it wasn't successful then, what can you do to help yourself to achieve or to better your life in the year 2022? Brothers and sisters, mothers, fathers, each and every single soul out there, better yourself in the year 2021. If it wasn't successful for you in the 2021, better yourself in 2022 then. That's why I have life coach, life doctor in the studios of Africa Media 247, Dr. Andy Asamoah, all the way from South Africa. Yeah, we're gonna reason, we're gonna talk about life, the achievements in 2021. How was it? Was it successful? Like I said earlier on, if it wasn't successful, then what can you do to better it, to make it happen in the year 2022? That's why I have the life coach in the studios of Africa Media 247. Mind you, this program is kindly sponsored to you by Noel 32 Signature Apparel. I'll tell you more about Noel 32 Signature Apparel. Print makes an impression. I'll tell you more about them. Not forgetting Kumasi Supermarket, located in Grand Prairie, Texas. Yes, for all your African groceries, go to Kumasi Supermarket. Kumasi Jom, yes. I will tell you more about that. Tune in every time. Don't you flip it. Stay in touch. Dr. Andy Asamoah all the way from South Africa with me in the studios of Africa Media 247. Stick a pin with us. Call a friend, tell a friend. Share with a friend and let's reason about 2022. Yes. Today happens to be first Sunday of morning chats for the year 2022. Doctor, good morning.
Good morning, Ken. Now, it is a official pa.
I think committee officers and everything is successful in life.
Miasi.
Yeah, happy New Year to Mrs. Atasamotu and all the kids. Yeah, happy New Year, Mrs.
That was
Atasamotu.
it.
I heard
That
you were
was it.
in Cape Town.
Kakra. Yeah.
Very good.
Kakra.
Yeah, very good. Doctor, I don't know where to start it from. This is today supposed to be in a form of interview. It's supposed to be like conversation. I know you are a life coach, advising people, talking to people, and Dr. Andia Samuel's life or Dr. Andia Samuel's dream and focus to make everybody happy, everybody successful in life. That is what you want to achieve, or this is what you want people to. I mean, pay attention or focus on. That's why we always reach out to you to, advise the people, tell the masses what to do, what not to do. It's not like people cannot do what they're supposed to do, but it's like when you have people like Dr. Andy Asamoah out there, I mean, to give you some advice, all the time things becomes easy for you in life. Anyway, doctor, so in 2021,
Mm.
can you just tell me two things that it wasn't successful in Africa?
Mm. Ken, God bless you so much
You're
for
welcome.
this program, and I hope that as we try and share each day, interact about life, ask questions, and try to generate answers to those questions. We do hope that we will be better today than we were yesterday. Now, coming to your question, two things that weren't so successful in Africa. I would say conflict situations worsened, and then we saw a deterioration of, if you like, democracy as a whole, democratic practice. So, if you look at this Africa's security terrain, looking at it from conflicts all the way from the Sahel through the Lake Chad Basin area to the Horn of Africa, down to what do you call it, Southern Africa, through to parts of West Africa, areas like Burkina Faso, and all those areas. If you look closely, what you will notice is that we've seen more activities of terrorist groups and groups using terror tactics to try and communicate what they want to do. We saw more of that, both in numbers, but particularly in terms of expansion of the geographical space within which they work. And so you would have noticed from the news that countries like Burkina Faso, which hitherto hadn't been an enclave of such situations, we've seen the situation expand to that country, and gradually it's moving down south, which is very worrying. Southern Africa, in recent times, has had very difficult situations around Mozambique. We saw that in 2021. Despite attempts to try and contain the situation, it hasn't been easy. So, on the security front, from a very global level, we see that really on the continent. But if you look at democracy as well, last year we saw a number of coups happening. If you add the Chad situation, to Guinea, all the and then Sudan and several, Mali and other countries, you then notice that in a way the continent, even though the African Union has been very robust in its condemnation of situations like coup and other related unconstitutional changes of governments. In 2021, we were not really those structures were not able to prevent the occurrence of many. And the reasons there are pretty simple. We've seen massive agitation, um, um, from protests to all of that, which in a way is a legitimate expression of discontent, but which also then signifies issues with governance. So, governance variables haven't been very good across the board in very many countries. We've seen corruption levels have been high in many countries. We've seen African politicians in some countries promising a lot and delivering less. And so we've seen that even in, supposedly stable countries like Ghana, we've seen that there's been a very tough opposition, to the status quo, emerging particularly around social media, with the emergence of, Fix the Country campaign, for instance, and other related issues. Ghana hasn't been alone. So generally, you have a sense that people expect more, and that the average African is increasingly dissatisfied with the kind of governance that is being dished out to them, and they will want the situation improved. Sometimes they've ended up on the streets, the numbers have gone up, the army, and then it's led to a situation of ungovernability, and we've seen the army coming in and pretending, to be defending the interests of the people, and other related situations as we've seen in Sudan. And so if you look at it across the board, these two fronts were really not very, very good in Africa at all. But for me, the danger is not just in the facts of what happened. The danger is what the facts mean. What it means is that unless we change the trajectory of governance on the continent, chances are we may see more of these coups happening. And even though there's an overwhelming response and condemnation of coups, usually situations like this get worse before they get better. And usually one coup in a particular country predispose the structures, predispose the situations in that country to subsequent coups and other forms of vulnerability. So I fear for those countries that are supposedly safe and have become very complacent in their management of situations, like we've seen in countries like Ghana and other places, Nigeria and all that. But I'm also a little concerned about the fact that we are working on a path which isn't easy to turn around easily. And so it's going to take time before we fix these things to make Africa better. So looking at 2021, getting into 2022, that is how things look. That is how that will be more or less an assessment of the situation. As a result of this, a country like Sudan has, moved into 2022 with a lot of problems, protests, the prime minister resigning, a complete chaos, and a sense of uncertainty in terms of the way forward. So that will be more or less a scorecard from my side, how Africa looks like.
Well, thank you, Dr. Andy Samoa from South Africa. This program is kindly sponsored to you by Kumasi Supermarket alongside Noel 32 Signature Para. In case you just tune in, this is Morning Chat, talking to Dr. Andy Samoa about 2021, what happened in Africa. Was Africa? I mean, problems can be solved or it cannot. What can we do to brush it off, or what can we do to make it successful, have a better continent? If average African is dissatisfied about the governance of, our leaders. Look at what recently happened in Ghana Parliament. They were just fighting. Look at what happened in Conakry, Mali, Ethiopia. What happened in Ethiopia? So it's like, okay, 2021 is over. Now we are in 2022. We're just gonna brush it off, and that's it. We're not gonna talk about it. We're not gonna solve the problem. Look at what you were telling us about Mozambique. Like, okay, just gonna cut it off. Nothing that we can say. Buhari, citizens of Buhari, Nigeria, they don't know that Buhari is still alive, or Buhari he disappeared, or we don't know what's going on. But like you said, average African citizen don't want to, go through all this. They are not happy about governance of our leaders. You know, I mean, looting and share and all this stuff. They don't want that thing to happen. They want development, schools, jobs, better infrastructures. So in 2022, do you think like we have a way forward to make things better in the motherland of Africa?
Well, the fact is this, that I think 2022, from where I stand at this particular point, gives us a clean slate to look at what went wrong last year and previous years. Because you see, a lot of the things we are seeing in 2021 are manifestations of mistakes we've made over time. And so sometimes it's difficult to just blame everything that happened in 2021 on just a single year. It's always an accumulation of things. And so 2022 offers an opportunity for us to learn from what happened in 2021. But as much as I can be Afro optimistic as I want, I don't think 2021 is, as a time frame, is enough for us to be able to address all these issues. But given that, there are a lot of things that we'll be able to do. We assessed what the areas we didn't do too well, but there are so many areas that we did well. But also there are even those we didn't do too well. It doesn't mean there was nothing being done in terms of response. At the national levels, many of these countries um, are, are are thinking twice about many things, from the security front to what do you call it, governance and all of that. And so in 2022, for me, I think my sense of optimism really derives from two areas. Number one is the resolve of the average African, particularly the new generation of young people, to see to it that the future does not become an exact, replica of what we are already experiencing. And they are pretty much committed to try and push people, I mean, leadership to change. That's number one. Number two is actually also the momentum surrounding some of the ongoing processes. When we discuss this, sometimes I hear a lot of YouTubers, bashing leaders left, right, center. But sometimes you also need to appreciate the enormity of the situation the leaders are grappling with, vis-a-vis the tools they have, and then the limitations within which they operate, because that is really the successive leaders have had to grapple with a mix of these to be able to keep things running. Sometimes, and in some African countries, the situation is so bad that even keeping the status quo, you need to be given some thumbs up, because the situations are so bad. The economic figures are really bad. The security situation and so if you find yourself there, your ability to keep the country together alone is so much work, because it's not like other parts, I mean, the developed world, where they have structures, they have everything in place, and so they focus more on maintaining what is there and trying to innovate around them. In some of our situations, you don't even have the space to innovate, because you need to think about survival at a particular point, and that is a reality within which some of our leaders come to power and they operate. That is there. But we also see a situation where countries, some of the countries, I wouldn't mention them for some reasons. Some of the countries think they are so established. They are becoming too overconfident about the strength of their democratic structures, and so they are testing them too much. And issues of pushing elections to a point where the situation gets so tense and everybody is scared. And in situations like that, what we need to know is that sometimes it takes one person to make a mistake to push the country over the tipping point. And so I wish that countries like Ghana and others will not get their politics to a situation where the country is so polarized, and so every election is literally that you are getting so close to the tipping point. Because when you do that, you are increasingly over testing the system. and you never know what can go wrong, particularly as the whole system is a developing, ecosystem. And so some of those things are there. We just need to be careful. Our leaders will need to be extremely circumspect, because at the end of the day, politics can only happen in situations of peace. In war, whatever you call it, it will end up being politics of the bullet, and that doesn't benefit anyone. And so we've got to do the politics, but we have to keep, the sanctity and the integrity of the African state, sacrosanct as we go about our businesses.
Thank you. Check the time. 59 minutes away from 7. Morning chat. Talking to Dr. Andy Asamo all the way from South Africa. Reason about Africa. In 2022, there's achievements in Africa. How can we move forward? How can African improve? How can ordinary citizen feel better that I'm in a continent in which I don't need to worry about anything, have a better job, better education, hospitals, and other stuff like that. Mind you, this program is currently sponsored to you by Kumasi Supermarket alongside Noel 32 Signature Apparel. My name is Roya King. Having a reasonable chat or have a reason with Dr. Andy Asamoah from South Africa. Good morning to you, Edward Ofori, not forgetting Brother Martin, all the way from Pennsylvania. Good morning. Happy New Year as well. So, Doctor, let's look at the achievements, two achievements in Africa that Africans, we're going to stand and boast ourselves like, oh, yeah, we did achieve this in the year 2021. Can you give me like two achievements in Africa?
Um. Okay. So there are many achievements, right? There are many achievements. One is our
Yeah.
response to situations of conflicts. I know
Okay.
that people are bashing our regional structures. People are bashing our continental structures. Like the African Union
Mhm.
comes under a lot of bashing. ECOWAS, SADC, IGAD, and other related economic communities. They come under a lot of bashing, and principally because people think that they are not preventing conflicts enough, or they are not really addressing existing conflicts that swiftly. But sometimes, if you are close to the structures behind the scenes, you also get to appreciate what they've been able to do quite a bit. And for me, I think sometimes the assessment of the success of these structures is really not um, in the absence, or their success is not, shouldn't be measured by the absence of conflicts, but sometimes their resilience to contain the numbers. Because what sometimes, had it not been African Union, frameworks, regional structures, the way ECOWAS deals with these things, the suspension of certain countries and other related issues, we would have had more coups, for instance. And so, if you have one, as much as we wish we would have had zero, sometimes if you are privy to the enormity of the task on the hands of the African policymaker, vis-a-vis the limited nature of their resources, you tend to appreciate a bit of the good work they are doing, what our diplomats are doing, and all of that. If you interact with them on a day-to-day basis, it's not as if they go to sleep easily. They are cracking their brains. They are having countless meetings. They are speaking to different armed groups. They are speaking to different African presidents. And for situations like Ethiopia, for instance, people are saying, what is ABCD doing? Sometimes they have their own struggles within the confines of diplomatic tools as to what they will be able to do or what not to do. And so for me, with a sense of understanding of what they do, and the terrain, I would say the ability to stay on has been incredibly praiseworthy, if I could put it that way, in a way. But one other element I would praise the African continent is really in the area of the attempts, to have the continental free trade area to take off. It's been difficult in the beginning, but the resolve is clear that as much as we import everything, we trade very little amongst ourselves. There's an attempt, there's a mindset, there's a paradigm shift, at least at the level of our thinking, that the way forward has to be among ourselves. And so the establishment of, the Continental Free Trade Area, secretariat in Accra, and what they were able to do the whole year, the sensitizations and all that, it could be slow, but all of these are very positive, baby steps with which we will be able, to work faster, increase the pace, and probably run as a continent, in the future. So for me, these are two major things, if you want me to limit it to two, that I would like to praise. But I would also praise our young people. For me, the pressure they are putting on leadership to see that leadership gets better is the only platform, is the only strongest indication that Africa in 50 years will be better than Africa today. And for me, that sense alone, all the way from Cape Town to Cairo, from Nairobi all the way to Dakar, these are very important indications that we may not have fixed all the problems, but Africa 50 years from now will have a new crop of leaders who may have a new mindset, who may not be thinking the way we are thinking, who I can assure you will not be colonized as people are thinking. Because usually, if you condemn Africa based on the weaknesses of one, you do not necessarily have an idea of how resolved and how committed the many are to the African cause. And so that is how I will place it. Again.
Thank you very much, Dr. Andy Asamoah. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
They know how to do it. I always listen to it.
Africa Media 24/7.
If you can hear me, you have fallen before. Yes, those unplanned moments when you lose your vertical uprightness and grit the ground unwillingly. When you contest the direction of your body's movement, and yet your attempt to correct it.
Africa Media 24/7.
And worse, till what must be has become. Though falls are unpalatable, tell me a man who has no history of falling, and I can show you a man who never lived. You are here today, not because you never fell, but because you made it up each time you fell. So, that you fell is not the point. That you made your way up is superior. The life of a fallen man is a desperate one. He has knowledge of his end, but not how to save himself. He craves a savior and finds none, for everything gives way till he has become a native of the law. Far worse is life in a fallen state. Your cry never alters the fact. The ohs and ouches of bystanders never kill your pain, nor soften the loudness of your guilt. The options for a standing man may be many, but that of the fallen, even the giants of men, are limited. He that chooses to stay down is spared any future falls, because as they say, he who is down fears no fall. But in life, only the coward accepts the invitation to stay down for fear of a future fall. Choosing to arise after a fall is wisdom in the midst of odds. But it's not the wise who stand up, it's the brave who do. Because he who rises from a fall accepts to fall again someday. Life is for the brave. It belongs to those who are bold enough to contradict the request of their own bodies to give up, and numb enough to neglect those who mock their fall. The wise explore the meaning of their fallen state, because life is full of ironies. Sometimes upside down is upright, and upright, as you know it, can be upside down. There may be wisdom in staying down after a fall, but there's always purpose in arising to the chagrin of those who thought it your end. He who stands up quickly after a fall defines his fall as a slip, he who does not rise by himself announces a problem. He that must arise, therefore, ought to be encouraged by the wisdom that a man is a man not because he never falls, but because he knows how to be up even after his worst fall. Every skill you admire is a product of someone else's choice to be up even after he fell once or twice, but kept going. Perfection is not born, perfection is achieved. It's a product of falling and rising. Life without a fall is a life without a reset, because a fall forces a retake. Yet, the wise plan rather to stand and to stay standing, because though the fall of a child can be cried away, that of an adult can be expensive. So stay up, and if you are down, rise up. Good morning.
Hey, I do it. I always listen to it.
Africa Media 24/7.
Yes, Africa Media 247. Yes.
Africa Media 24/7.
If you're a coward, you always accept the invitation of fear. If you are a coward, you always accept the invitation of fear. I like that phrase. Was 2021 successful? If it wasn't successful then, what can you do to make it better in 2022? Doctor, was 2021 your message that you spread it across the world? Was it successful? People came out with good testimonies and stuff like that?
You mean in terms of morning chats, right?
Right.
Yes, I got quite some very positive feedback from people. A lot of, with social media, sometimes you can count on numbers, but usually numbers alone are not a measure of impact. So sometimes numbers may be high, numbers may not. But at the end of the day, there's that one person out there, our unknown the motivation to keep doing this keeps on going. But I got a lot of feedback about, how useful it's been and timely episodes maybe have been in the lives of people. And for me, that is what I look for. There are two dimensions to the things I do. There's the dimension of looking at the lives changing, and that is a motivation. But there's also a dimension of looking inside me and seeing that, this is what there's a call on your life you need to fulfill, and so you've got to keep it rolling.
Very good. There's a call in life, so you have to keep it rolling so that people can able to know what is in you and what you can able to let them achieve in life too. No, 32 signature para for all the printings, your designs like wedding invitations, funeral posters, funeral invitations, birthday cards, birthday invitations, billboards, ID cards. You need to reach out to Noel 32 signature para. They are located at South Central Kumasi behind ARS or opposite ARS Church. You can reach out to them. The phone number is 0244 617307. Once again, 0244 617307 or 020 Noel 32 signature para prints makes an impression. Just go there and you will love their work. You will like it. Look at the flyers of African Media 247 from the World 32 signature para. So, doctor, in a common sense, like in 2021, when we put COVID, or if we put COVID aside, were the masses were able to achieve in life? Because through COVID, now what you go through, you don't go to banking hall, you go through drive-through. Now we have a lot of remote jobs. Like, whatever talent that is in people is coming out. So like when you put COVID aside, still people came up with ideas and developing stuff, and so
Yeah.
Was the achievement in 2021 great?
I would say yes. And the reason is that, sometimes there's a mistake in measuring the new on the basis of the old, the new frontiers without our understanding of the old of the status quo. And at the point I'm making is if you look at um, when COVID hit, the job losses and all those things that came up, right? The picture may not be so clear to you until you are also able to comprehensively understand the new terrains that have opened and the new people who have been able to do new things under new domains. Ebina now, Kano, if you look at the fact that because at the end of the day, every issue about hit the world, about hit society, community, individual, it also brings its own quest for new solutions, which Ocean is it also becomes new opportunity in a way. Those are the way we've adapted to the whole COVID pandemic, right? Um, online commerce and our e-commerce and our core app. Now, what is done is that it's created an avenue for new people who hitherto had been struggling on that particular platform. And so Sikano is still moving, but it's moving through a new medium, through a new channel to a different set of people. Osha or big millionaires because of Bitcoin, for instance, cryptocurrencies.
Right.
A completely new domain. Until Okasa Osha Sikafwa, maybe I should share the likes of despite and other people. But you have new crop of young people who are also in their own Obibasia one corner, exploring new things, creating, making it for themselves, and have in a way also improved. Challenges like COVID only limit those who are not ready to explore new frontiers. And so Usha, churches are ultimately adapting here to go digital. They've a lot of the pastors have literally become addicted to digital if any sense services. It be more streaming literally all the time. They rebroadcast and all that. And so they've seen that it's the the distance between here and there has been collapsed into one. The distance between yesterday and today has been collapsed into one. Why? Because of technology. But they've been forced out of the comfort of their churches into this new domain. Osha prior to COVID, no. Now young people are more streaming what churches, no. Then you hot cake. But right now, wherever you go, almost every church you need a media team that is capable of streaming as you want, and that is a new, if any sense, skill set. And also, so no, the new people are getting opportunities, and so sometimes, no, yeah, measure we we need to look at it closely. Ebi mu be lose bi, ebi so no will gain, and so the plus or minus is that it's giving us a rethink to create new dimensions, new territories, to move in new yeah expecting, because that is the only way the future is going to be. And so they say, people who are buying big shops and others, in our Ghana setting, say, shops will still be relevant, but it's not going to be um, e-commerce also gradually will come. What I say, and so there is going to be a new generation of people omono or per idea or online, because with online we can compare prices rather than so color. And so you know are being forced to think differently and to reposition ourselves differently. Sana mi who 2021, how are people gained until be on my share be now soon, but share be so now are gaining. And I feel that it's a clarion call for those who lost to gradually push themselves to the new domain where they will have new opportunities, because that is the best way we can reposition ourselves in 2022 particularly. Status quo, I think we will not return to status quo as before. So status quo as before might not be. I think we are getting into a situation where status
Yes,
quo
those unplanned moments when you
will
look.
be based on what is today, because
Hmm. Okay.
the status quo is what we are doing now, where it's virtual, where is everything. People have gotten jobs across different parts of the world and are
Hmm.
still working from home. So yeah, plus or minus, make us say gradually, we are all adjusting to the new terrain. And so if we can be swift in terms of identifying new opportunities, we can be pace setters, and that will create new champions.
Yeah, 20 minutes away from age. We're talking to Dr. Andy Samoa on the morning charts, achievements in the year 2021. Even when you put COVID aside, what did the masses achieve? That's what we're talking about. In case you're just tuning in, just call a friend, tell a friend, share with a friend, and let's reason together. Doctor, don't you think like cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and all these, we're talking about Dangote, Canada, Japan, and co, Despite, and co. We're talking about all these big guys that are making
Mm.
such tons of money.
Mhm.
What about average person? Now, don't you think like we're going back to the new world order or the new world order start? Because these days, when you go to some places like restaurants, they don't
Mhm.
accept cash. When you
Mhm.
go to some offices, like all your paperwork documents supposed to be networking. Now you have to make an appointment to go to some government facilities and stuff like that.
Mhm.
You have to make an appointment to be on the queue or in line forever and ever, months and months to get your documents. Don't you think like through COVID, new world order is, I mean, is in place?
I mean, you know, I am
Because
with you on that.
yeah,
I'm with you on the fact that COVID has triggered a reordering of, every space of society. It comes with its own opportunities and with its own challenges. In this case, no, our biggest challenge has to do with those who are going to lag behind in coming on board this. And when I say those, I'm not just talking about individuals, but the cluster of people who will delay in coming on. And that is directly connected to the level of education, because sometimes that also is related to how fast you adopt new technology. And so in other parts of the world, everything is going really digital, moving really fast. If you bring it to our part of the world, you can move fast with a certain age bracket, but there's also a huge, part of the economy. They have no idea what you're talking about. What I say. So we will have to gradually um, come on with them, but it will be gradual. But we need that integrated system, and so sometimes my recommendation will be a multi-speed approach. You move those that are ready to go digital, you go with them. Those who want to do the paper, you do it, but gradually you educate them to come onto the digital space and all that. And then mindfully also knowing that um, the the one of the biggest challenges we've had in Africa is allowing spaces to get cluttered, and then because of the cluttering, people build corrupt systems around it. Now, if it becomes difficult to change. And so, one of the things we need to look at is how do we start the whole process of policing the new structures that are coming on board, so that because digital, the thieves and the corrupt people you are dealing with will be totally new generation people. You'll be dealing with hackers, you'll be dealing with all sorts of things. So you've got to have a total mind shift. You've got to understand the terrain. And so the IAS is saying no, there's a shift, but it's not an overwhelming 100%. So you still have to keep the manual, the system, and you have to still keep the digital system operating side by side, because the future is digital. But yeah, yeah, born before computer for no anything. Or mono, they have no idea what is happening. You still have to accommodate them with the analog system, because he said they will come onto the digital. So saying the system has changed. And I think that that is also how, in terms of exploring opportunities, we need to start thinking. Once first you want to go there physically, it's the same so system NASA. So we young so when it comes to opportunity, we've got to start looking at it that way. That things have changed, and so we need to change. Now, one thing I want to say here is that whenever systems change, dynamics change, paradigms shift, those who take the lead become pace setters. And a lot of times, they make it big. And that is how come you've seen the likes of, Facebook owner, say, anything, Mark Zuckerberg and others. Oko YouTube, so those who are very fast in getting into the blogging space, on the algorithms work in their favor, and they just keep moving, and they will move and move. The system will change again, and if those people don't align quickly, there will be new dimensions and others will overtake them, and it's like that. So when the system is in flux like this, it's up to all of us to be able to read ahead and start positioning ourselves really fast. Because what will be there anymore? You become a pace setter, and a lot of things will work in your favor. If you're a musician now, you have to start. I mean, you should think more digital. Untimi nkoye cassette biom, that we already know, but already the way of old things, no, so we've got to start thinking new. And the system, I'm with you. Say assistant totally. Oh,
Okay, so
and
Moko, you're watching live. Go ahead.
and even as they also struggle with streaming, you see, because they still and it has to do purely with your time. I mean, the a lot of people in the art space still haven't figured out. So okay, streaming all the to on na ayɛ den wobɛnya sika kakra wonya sika no wie is that all? Ebi mu haven't figured out the mathematics of how much you get nti obi wɔ hɔnom a wobie channel na aka kyɛn sɛ unsubscribe a n'adwene ne sɛ ɔsubscribe yɛ na wayɛ yie. And they have no idea how many views on YouTube gives you how much, and other related things. So yeah, the world is going to be is digital, but um, the fear is that in Africa, the world is going digital, but we are also not digitizing fast enough. Say the world is digital, but yet there's so to classrooms na the ancestral notes. The world is digital, but yet there's so to teacher need a sukra your friend is a chalk, age in a classroom and a wall. So Accra, the computer artisan or who grows up on a computer versus Accra, yeah, you draw mouse or board. So if you are all going to compete because it's a global village, where would your country be? Because Sankran, they are also going to be the leaders that we look up to tomorrow.
Yes, 27 minutes away from 8. Talking to Dr. Andy Samuel, telling us more. Officer Christian Owusu, 21 gun salute. I know that one of our heroes just dropped 21 gun salute. Anyway, Officer Christian Owusu, he says we live in an internet world. Some Okodia watching live. Ernest Banner, he said, God bless you, bro, for all the wonderful, messages that you spreading it across the world, Dr. Andy Asamoah. Yes, call a friend, tell a friend, share with a friend, and let's reason, let's talk. Let's, come up with something that's going to make African successful, African better. Doctor, so we live in an internet world, as Officer Christina also is saying. What about my ordinary grandmother? Somebody who never stepped a foot in classroom. When you go to the streets of Kumasi, when you go to the streets of Accra, like Mokola, Kumasi Jom, Kumasi Central Market, when you go to the streets of Lomi or when you go to the streets of Lagos, hawkers
Mm.
selling on the street. When you go to Cape Town, Kalucha, when you go to Dakar, when you go to a street of Conakry, when you go to streets of Morovia, all these people, they never step a foot in classroom. Everything is digital. It will get to a point whereby coconut seller, they are going to tell you that you have to go through this process before you can get a coconut to buy. That was the question that I was asking you. That don't you think like we're going far? The world is changing so fast. Like new world order is taking place so quick. Because I know that in Europe, in America, it worked for them the way that they want it to be. It suit their culture. What about my continent? Not like we don't want to learn. We want to learn. If we want to go to Ghana, I was watching this guy, Reggie Rockstone, and Reggie Rockstone was talking about the way that Reggie's wife blend her food, and whenever you give them a call, they will just drop it off for you, which is so amazing.
So the
They package the
um
food in which you call them, they just gonna drive to your location and just
I
drop
mean
it
the
off.
watcher, right?
You're right, you
Yeah.
know. But it's like it's okay, but how long can it able to? I mean, how long can people able to? I mean, go through this process. Like, if I need a coconut to buy, I need to call
Mm.
somebody. I need to go online and go research. Like, hey, drop me coconut. Whereby the coconut seller don't know how to go online and do all this stuff.
So three things. One is the fact that that's why I was saying that some of these things will move ownership of certain spaces to new spaces. So one here, one here, there will be some people who will, unless we bring the old mamas onto that space, there will be some people who will move the control of that market, that
Mhm.
economic space, to a new platform now, Mafa. And it's already happening. That is how come you have people who are packaging cocoa different from how our high GS used to do it. In the olden days, those people were not, would not have been identified with the cocoa selling space. But now these people are moving it away from the high GS to a certain space. And we are talking about Reggie and the wife. They've moved the wache away
From
from
music to
our, the the one we want, the proper Zongo wache. Now they've brought it into wache jar. So they are gradually moving some of these into new spaces. Now, that what that means is that those who are in the old space, yeah,
right.
who will be assisted to come into the new space, can also become actors in that new domain. And then those who, the new entrance in the domain, then expands the pool of that domain. But mind you, as I said before, this new space will take time to replace the old domain. They will have to run side by side for a while. Our mothers, some of them will still sell on the open market for a while. Some of them will still do things for a while because there's also a whole generation of people that they are not necessarily fast adopting these things. So yeah, as much as we are digitizing, we need to know that we have to meet the two systems, run them side by side, and not only the nature of the complexity, and see how we find synergy between that and only new one. I know you're very important. Number two is, and wait, and I want you to listen carefully to this one because number two is the appropriateness of some of the technology that we need in our spaces. They could be using POS in America, but POS is not necessarily conducive, maybe for the market, for the, what do you call it, the Makola woman who sells tomatoes, one CD, and all of that. What that means is that for her, the most appropriate between the two, between say EFT, POS, and others, no, it's not POS and EFT, but maybe Momo, which is simple for them to do, which a child can easily check for them how much, the transaction is another related thing. So the number bohonoma that they are sometimes very easy. So mobile pick it up, but that also provides a space, for our innovators. We can't be a continent where everything that is driving this evolution, the fourth industrial revolution, is imported. Yeah, yes, sir. We will continue, to be purchased in this new world. We also need to be developing this technology, customizing them to the dictates of our world. And that is what, our programmers have to be doing. The African ICT child, that's where they should be thinking. The fact that they could have their Uber, but you should also think differently about what is it that our mama who is going to the market and has no idea what Uber is, what can they do so that they can also get, something that gives them the same service, something like that. So as much as we try to push and get onto what the world is developing, we also need within that to create a niche for our African developers, our African innovators, because technology is not relevant until it is appropriate for what you want to do. And so our mothers in the open market who may not be able to read, I see Christians saying that they are fast
Yeah,
learners
they
and they
are
are
fast
catching up.
learners. Yeah, that's what I
Yes.
want to read.
What I say, so what we can do will be our programmers to pick what is there, because for them they understand money, they understand the whole business, business world, they understand it even far better. What they may be lacking is how will they identify say Utianiska if you pay them in Momo terms, right? How much how much will she be able to see the figures on the screen? And so our innovators will have to then give them an audio form of this so that they'll be able to get it the right way in a language that is appropriate. So there's some work to be done in that space. And yes, sir, we will disenfranchise a certain category of people. Ebi mo catch it up. We also need to run it together with adult education, reading and kakra, so that people can, come into that space. But largely, no, what I want to emphasize is the fact that this it's going to create new actors in the space. It's going to create new spaces. Not all the actors will be in all the spaces. We've got to run a side by side for a while, but we need appropriateness of the technology. It's not everything that works for America that we need in Africa. That's why sometimes our leaders will go import a certain technology and then we are stuck with it and the money is wasted. Appropriateness of technology is really key. But in all of this, it's developing a new space. And so the African inventors and innovators will have to do what works for us to be able to give us that appropriate technology. That's the only way we can, make Africa better.
Thank you, Dr. Andy Asamoah. That's the only way that we can able to do to make Africa better. You know that person, Officer Christian Owusu, those grandparents of today are fast learners and they are
Yeah,
catching up with the modern world.
that
Yes,
that's yeah.
I believe
I,
that. Mhm,
I think one of the things that has made it easy is that
mhm.
um, you know, technology is not visual, it's more interactive. So the UI, the user interfaces we have, sometimes if you tell the person that this is called this a bit of introduction with the pictures and icons, they're able to keep it in mind and they will be able to know what to do. If you have an aged parent, you know how to store the numbers on their phone. They know that maybe number one is husband, number two is this person, number three. They know how to move around that space on their own. So we need to orient them, but we need to make them appropriate for our own people.
So, doctor, if this is what he's saying, or that's what he's saying, then I strongly believe that you do agree with putting a
Okay. It looks like we've lost Ken briefly. We've disconnected. So, um, yeah, it's back. Okay. Yeah, Ken.
Yeah,
hmm
you heard my question, right?
Yes, I missed the latter part of it, and
I
and
said that I said then, like, if we talking about technology right here, modern world right here, internet world right here, then you do believe that it's about time for people to put on the chips and all this stuff. Like now in the system in America over here, a lot of people been putting chips on their dogs and cats. Like whenever they get lost, they can able to
for
retrace,
tracking. Yeah.
right? So it's now about time for people to put chips on them. Like when you get to your door, you don't need to, I mean, take off your key. You just like swipe it, then you just in.
I mean, some parents are putting, I wouldn't say chips. They give trackable wristwatches to kids so that they'll be able to locate them when necessary and all that. A lot of the digital wristwatches that kids use, the rechargeable ones nowadays, some of them you can track them on your phone. So it has this positive side and all of that. Assuming we will not have issues of hacking and other related targeted interruptions. Now, I'm a Christian. I know where you're going. So there are certain terminologies and certain ways we look at certain things, and we have our own ways of interpreting certain things. But the Awokan is a domain no one can stop it, where everything is miniaturizing. We actually reducing everything into small bits, and so um, the fact that chips of any form will come up and will be used in any form, I think it's a space that no one can stop it. As if they find that it's compatible with the human body, I can assure you people will go for it. But people raise bands and all of those things. These are spaces. The internet world, the fourth in this industrial revolution. I mean the revolution we are seeing, the internet age. It's like a tsunami. No one can stop it. And even those actors who are in key places do not have complete idea of where we are going with this, because you can understand the part where you sit, but it's bigger than you. And the interaction, the internet is not just a sum of what we do. It's bigger than the sum of everything we put there, because things assume their own life and they interact in new dimensions and new ways. So there are merits ahead, but there are also dangers ahead, which is where we need to also explore. But I know no one can stop it. The things of using chips, um, using keyless entries, they're already on the systems, and yeah, we are going there.
Okay, my mother is a grandmother of 6 and she's using iPhone Pro Max. So that is just the beginning and it's an example
And
coming from Christina Owusu.
the more updated the phone is, the easier is it for her, right? Because I
Mhm.
mean, you don't waste her time with update this, update that, or if she can set it up simply. And many of these, particularly the iPhone user interface, is that simple, and I think it takes some of these it takes usability of people in that category into consideration. Yeah, everything is visual now, so you can interact with the interface. They're opening now. I press it. I mean, if you want to make a call, it looks like the icon looks like what do you call it? A phone. You press it, the numbers will pop up. You just look for whichever one you want to choose, and it may have their pictures anyway. You press it and you speak to them. And these days you have video calls, and so it's becoming easier actually for adoption. It looks like we are back to the days of using actual pictures to represent what we wanted to say.
Good. 43 minutes away from 8. Dr. Andy Asamoah having a morning chat with him. Today, catch Samuel Kodia live between the hours of 2 and 3 is going to be something exclusive. Hit points. Hit Point 360, whatever that happened in 2021 from January to December. Number one political talk show in African Media 247. Catch him live between the hours of 2 p.m. and 3. Dallas, Texas time. Your host is Samuel Kodia. Catch him live. Call a friend, tell a friend, share with a friend whenever he step up. Kumasi Supermarket, Kumasi Jom is located in Grand Prairie. Bomadina Sabako Kumasi Jom na kope African groceries ni nyina bito. So whether you're Nigerian, you are from Kenya, you are from Mozambique, you are from South Africa, you are from Botswana, Guinea Conakry, Equatorial Guinea, Malawi, South Africa, everywhere. Kumasi Supermarket. Kohonum. Go there, just go there. Ubenyo African groceries ni nyine biato. Yam, wintia, pepre, esruwisa, meko, nyadua, akatwa, everything. Kumasi Supermarket. Omo a year Grand Prairie, Great Southwest Parkway. Bomadina kohonum. Now, obetimi afre Kumasi Supermarket. Obetimi afre wana homa trofono from obetimi kole omo 972 854 6995. Me sense your mama trophone should be obey me our support. You can test them. Send a message 972 854 6995. Kumasi Supermarket. Ena almost sign ton yam. A wholesale until person Toby Cotton. More per se with the Kogu Storm, wherever that you want to take it to know. Momadina reach out to Kumasi Supermarket. They are located in Grand Prairie, Texas. Reach out to them. Kumasi Supermarket. You need to take a next step. Taking a next step in life. Taking a next step in 2022. It's supposed to be something unique. It's supposed to be something that you need to think about it. We are in January right now. So from now to December, mankind need to come out with something better in life. That is why you need to take a step. Take a lesson to this from Dr. Andy Asamoah.
Africa Media 24/7.
Hi, did you say you failed yesterday? Yeah, unfortunately, we all saw that. I know things didn't go according to plan. Later, I saw the trolls on social media and overheard the insinuations in the corridors. It hurts, I know. You wouldn't be human if it didn't hurt. But failure is like the tickle that makes you jiggle so you can sit up with renewed consciousness.
The best online radio in Dallas-Fort Worth. Africa Media 247.
So don't make it about them and what they are thinking about you. Make it about you and what you want to do. That is what matters. It's normal if most people don't get it. Remember what I told you the other day, that vision bearers can sometimes find themselves on a lonely path because society doesn't celebrate dreams, but achievements. Guess what? Yesterday's failures will not matter if you can win in today's battles. In fact, yesterday's failures will make today's win sweeter and even more fulfilling if you can keep your head up and take the next step. But if you hang on to what happened yesterday, it will continue to matter because you will not be able to see the opportunity today brings for you to prove yourself. So let it go and rather choose to let today count. Remember that every next step is built on the last one, no matter how feeble the last step was. Where your last step took you is always where you have to start your next journey. So let it go, because if you don't take the next step, the last step will be your last. So let your next step rather count. They saw you fail yesterday. How do you want them to see you today? It's a new morning, so step out there and let everybody know that you are a better person than you were yesterday. Step out there and let those who saw you cover your face in shame know that your hands were just on their way into the air to celebrate your win. Step out there and let them know that you are a better person because you know how not to fail. Step out there and possess today. Good Good morning.
They know how to do it. I always listen to it.
Africa Media 24/7.
Yes, step out there and let the masses know that there is something better in you. Step out there for the people to know that in 2021 you can 2022 you can make it. Step out there in 2022 for your husband, for your wife, for your kids to know that you are good parents. Step out there for your co-workers to know that you can make it in 2022. Step out there for the people around you to know that you're a team player. Step out there. Dr. Andy, do you think
Yes.
like 2022 masses can step out and achieve a lot?
We can.
In what way?
I always say that
Africa
a
Media
man
24/7.
a man does not see a day he has no purpose in. Until if you don't have a purpose today, you will not see today. Your life would have ended yesterday. So the reason we are seeing today, which is in 2020, 22, is that there's something for us to do. And whatever we were doing in 2021, there's still more for us to do in 2022. So um, but I believe totally that there's more we can achieve in 2022. But we've got to, there are a couple of things we can do to make it better. A lot of times, there are things we can do. Number one, we need to step out of 2021 before we can actually enter 2022. I can assure you that some people who are with us, maybe listening to us or whatever, are in 2022, but they are still in 2021. Why? Because they are still grieving over what happened in 2021. They are still allowing themselves to be held back by what they, went through in 2021. But whatever failure they recorded in 2021, they are still holding on to it. What that means is that they are in 2022, but they did not exit 2021. But take it from me, if you do not step out, you can't step in. And this is very real. You can be haunted by your yesterday to the extent that you waste your today, and that means you've messed up tomorrow. That is something that also applies in this particular case. But so we need to step out of that, which means leave everything there. You failed, yes. I mean, the fact that you are alive means that you can look at that, make it better. If you failed on path A, it means that you can try path B. At least you know that path A is not for you. Try B, try C, try Z, and that will make it a better choice of options on the way forward. But once you've walked out of 2021, you are in 2022.
Yes.
You've got to embrace 2022 because 2022 has met you. It's like consider it as a clean slate of to live life. So what that means is that if it's a clean slate, and you've decided to let 2021 be, what you need to ask yourself is that what then should 2022 be about? Should 2022 be about yesterday, or 2022 should be about the new you that you want to see, the one you have in mind? And so you've got to now then start making your choices to make sure that every day in 2022 you program yourself to be better than you were the previous day, which means you work towards a certain goal. So what should 2022 be about? So we've got to have the goals. You don't need to fill a paper of goals, a list of goals. It can be few, and you work towards it, because sometimes the joy and satisfaction that you gain out of the fulfillment of one is what can propel you to want to do two. And so do one, once it's cleared, you go to the next one. But at the end of the day, one of the key, ways we need to frame our minds is that sometimes if you can take charge of the
best
little
online
things
Dallas Fort
in your
Worth.
day,
Africa Media 247.
If you can take charge of the little things in your day, you will not have to worry about the bigger things at the end of the day, because every big thing is made up of small things. So if we can break those goals into small things that you can do, you will gradually be working towards where you need to be. And I think that one of the things we also need to work towards then is that you then have to focus, because distractions come, you know. Um, People have goals, people have drive, people have resources, people have everything. But if you have everything and you lack focus, you will still not be able to focus your energy to achieve what you want to achieve. And so get into 2022 by stepping out of 2021. Set for yourself what 2022 ought to be about, you know, and within that, have clearly what you want to do. And then out of that, do the little things you can do. And each time be diligent about it. Evaluate it when necessary. And then once you achieve that, you gradually keep a focus. You know, if you can do that in the first week of the year and can keep it in the second week of the year and can keep it up to the last week of the year, you will certainly make 2022 better than 2021. Now, I want to believe that people have things they want to do, but sometimes it's not about the dreams and how lofty they are in the beginning of the year. It's about how realistic you make them and how focused you put your energy behind them. So these are the things that I think that if we can all work on, 2022 will be better. And I want to believe that many are poised to make 2022 better than 2021 at a personal level, educational level, professional level, even relationship and family level. We've got to set goals at all these levels. That's the best way forward.
That is the best way forward. Dr. Andy Asamoah talking to him all the way from South Africa. Life coach, life doctor, giving us some points in which we can make a better life in the year 2022. Coming up today, between the hours of 5 p.m. 4 p.m. to 5, breakthrough hour, Elder Emmanuel Boateng. It's better for us to listen to the word of God. We need it in our life to improve physically, spiritually, so we need the food. When I talk about food, the word of God that's supposed to be within us, we need it to purify our soul. We need it in our daily movement. Like, some souls are so weak, some mind are so weak, but when this man of God come and feed you with the word of God, it purifies you and it makes life easy and successful for you. So catch him between the hours of 4 p.m. till 5, Dallas, Texas time, breakthrough hour. Elder Emmanuel Boateng. He's going to be in the studios of African Media 247 live. Catch him live. Samuel Kodia, Happy New Year, Dr. Andy Asamoah. Enjoying the program. Very educative and informative. It's coming from Samuel Kodia, yes. Doctor,
Thank you,
so
Samuel.
we are about to go. We are about to go right now, but what I just want us to do right now, in case you're just watching us, listen to us right now, take a pen and paper. And doctor is going to give us 5 things that we can able to, put it in place to step it up. Okay, in January, February, March, I will do this to make life better. April, May, June, I'll do this to make it better, so that we can able to, follow that trend to make it better in the year 2022 from January to December. So just take pen and paper. Doctor is going to give us 5 things that we can able to, keep it in mind and work on it to make 2022 better. But before that, take a listen of this.
Hi. Thanks for sharing your dreams yesterday. I spent the night reflecting on dreams and life based on the chat we had. Earth is the home of dreams. Yes, billions of dreams. Look around and see billions of stars waiting to shine, to gladden hearts that are waiting to celebrate fulfilled dreams. Yet, only thousands ever take the first step into the skies. Only hundreds stay on the path, and further few ever truly see the skies. Yet, everyone carries a dream to see themselves high up and bright. Dreams.
It looks like we lost Ken briefly. We will be reconnecting. That is if we are still streaming. Please stay on. Ken?
Gladdens a heart, which is what you seek. So take action today towards your dream. Good morning. You've been listening to the Morning Chat with Dr. Andy Asamoah. Connect with me on all social media platforms. On Facebook at Andy Asamoah, on Instagram at Andy_Asamoah, and on YouTube at Impact Crew TV.
They know how to do it. I always listen to it.
Africa Media 24/7.
Yes, Africa Media 247. Good morning to you, Samuel Fortia Opoku. He say Happy New Year, Senior. Samuel, how you doing, my brother? Long time no here. Your pen and paper is ready? Dr. Andy Asamoah is going to give us something it's gonna, help us to improve life, help us make life better. Life coach, life doctor, Dr. Andy Asamoah. Catch Dacha Hima, Adom Hima live between the hours of 6 p.m. then 7. Talking about our kids' future, our kids' life, their education, how they can make it successful in life. Your many Adache, kids and future. Our kids need it all the time. Parents need our kids. Father, mother. You don't want to see your kids on the street. You don't want to see anybody without going to school, without having a better education, better life. Mother, father, don't want to see that. So catch Adom Hima between the hours of 6 p.m. to 7. Dallas, Texas time. And it's Sunday. Adom Hima betina say, Obedi enkora ho komo. Ye many a dachi asitine mu nsem eti say. Catch her live. Anyway, doctor. So before we go, so fly ko hin from Ghana or where? I know that baby I will be safe anyway. Doctor, so 5 things. I know say obi are ready, obi a person funny pen and paper now sure the bit me am successful in the year 2022. And obi a pen and paper are ready. And number 5 from January to December ready.
Ken, I ran through briefly some of them. And I will repeat them again.
Okay.
But what I'm going to do is to, give all of us frameworks, the kind of things you can customize, and if you can apply it to any situation diligently, will set you apart. Initially, I mentioned them briefly. Number 1 is review 2021 and learn from it.
Okay.
Review 2021 and learn from it. You know where you failed and why you failed. You know those who didn't help you as friends. You know businesses that, sent you bankrupt. You know everything. And so you learned. The best way forward is always to make sure that you build on the mistakes of yesterday. It's actually the best teacher. So we need to do that.
Okay.
Number two, step out of 2021 so you can step into 2022. And this is important so that no matter how bitter, no matter how difficult the situation you found yourself in 2021, try and leave it behind and step into 2022. You know, your mind can be in 2021 whilst your body is in 2022. If you don't align the two, your mind and your focus, you are not going anywhere. So you've got to be able to come around quickly, live in the reality of the now, which is 2022. Number three, set your goals. And that is what is you deciding what 2022 has to be about. There are 1,000 things you can do. You are fantastic. There are great things you can achieve. But the question you should ask yourself is, no matter who you are, no matter how powerful, if you don't, if you spread yourself too thin, your influence will not be felt anywhere. You'll be a jack of all trades, but master of none. So what you've got to do is to decide that as long as you live, since there are things you can do next year, in 2022, what are the things most appropriate that you've got to do? Don't put everything in 2022. If it's possible, fantastic, but you've got to be realistic. Something that you can achieve. Don't put things that are so difficult that, as number one, and then once you fail to achieve that, you have a reason to justify why you can't work on the second thing on your list. Don't put too much, be moderate and work towards it. Once you have those goals, try and break those goals into small things. You can't do all of them at the same time. That is important. But if you don't prioritize to do any of them at specific points in the course of the year, chances are you may give priority to other things rather than what you want to do for yourself. So it's good that from the first quarter, January to March, you know what you want to do. From April onwards, you know what you want to do, like that. That way, it helps you force yourself to finish what you need to do in quarter one, because you know there's something else you've got to do in quarter two. Now, once you've done that, decide to do something related to that, something every day related to that. So if you're going to be a best person, reading has to be part of it. You've got to, so you know what you need to do. At the end of the day, one of the things that I always tell myself is that your step in the right direction will never take you to the left. What I mean is that if you want to be a doctor and you are busy studying comedy, the two are there's no way you will study comedy to become a doctor. If you want to be a comedian and you are busy in the medical classroom, studying medicine, you'll be taught human parts, not how to turn around a joke. Other related things. So head in the direction of what you want to do in 2022. That is very important. Number 5 is decide to change your attitude. Success is an outcome of many things, but attitude is key. How you package yourself and other related things. But most of all, I think that part of you should be committed to discipline, to say that this is what I want to do. This is my, I'm committed to doing that. And if I can add to number 6, do regular reviews, because no one has it all figured out. There are times you will falter, but look at why you faltered and how you can improve it as you go on. And finally, you've got to focus. I think focus is the thing that can turn focus is that phenomenon that can turn ordinary water into a cutting beam of iron. Focus is that thing that can turn light into laser. You know, focus is that thing that can bring all your energy to focus on something so you can get it done when you need it. If you don't focus, no matter how gifted you are, you will be a wasted being. So you've got to focus. He who focuses, even with little endowment, can achieve more than an overly endowed person who is unguarded. That is where I will leave it, Ken.
Thank you very much, Dr. Andy Samoa. Regina is saying that thank you, Doctor. You always have the best words, wise words, and all the time. She's giving you good credit. Like you are the best. You are one of the examples. So
Yeah,
thank
thank
you,
you,
Regina.
Regina.
Okay. Anyway, thank you, Dr. Andy Samoa, life coach, life doctor on the morning charts. 9 minutes away from 9 Sunday morning. Doctor, what's the last message for the masses for the year 2022?
I think I will say where I ended, to say that there's a lot you carry as a person. There's a lot in you that you may not even be aware. Even if you don't have much and everybody thinks you are not as endowed as they are, if you can focus the little endowment you have in the right direction, one at a time, you consistently, and you are consistent, you'll be able to achieve more than someone who has all the giftings but is unguarded. Because unguarded energy, is wasteful, whether it's light or whatever. That's why you always will have to put a shield around light, a globe, so that it is properly filtered and all that. If no matter who you are, if you don't remain focused in 2022, there isn't much you will achieve. So focus.
Thank you. So focus. This is African Media 247. Thank you so much, Dr. Andy Samoa. Thank you. Catch you up
Thank you,
next
King.
week.
Bless you.
Yes, that was Dr. Andy Samoa all the way from South Africa. Yes, today catch Samoa Kodia live. Hit Point, #1 political talk show between the hours of 2 and 3 p.m. Catch him live. #1 political talk show. Yes, Hit Point 360. Samoa Kodia the Bebro and area. And see you are feeling free catching it live between the hours of 2 and 3 p.m. Dallas, Texas time. Other Emmanuel Boateng is coming on your way this afternoon between the hours of 4 and 5. Yes, breakthrough hour. We're gonna worship him, honor him, we're gonna glorify his name. Yeah, the word of God. Other Emmanuel Boateng. Adom Hima. Yes, Yamani Adanche. Good morning to you, Matthias Akoko, Mansfield. Mr. and Mrs. Akoko. How you guys doing? Yes. Adom Hima Baba Petanasi between the hours of 6 and 7. Yamani Adanche sitting on 7. Yes, catch it live. So, open DJ, open MC. So, wedding reception our year, birthday parties, anniversary party, grand opening, holiday party, all events. And I'll put your a videotaping service. Wedding photography is now put your man pictures nice ones. Then reach out to African Media 247. Yes. You can call the number 682-347-2915. 682-347-2915 or 854-4175. 469-769-2306. 469-769-2306. African Media 247. This program was kindly sponsored to you by Kumasi Supermarket. Kumasi Jom Kohonom Nabije Bibiato. Kumasi Supermarket is located in Grand Prairie, Great Southwest Parkway. African groceries being in a Hona Benyata, what a Jam House. Just go there. Kumasi Supermarket, Kumasi Jom. Hona Koto near me in free Honum. Their phone number is 972-854-6995. Kumasi Supermarket. Just go there. Not forgetting the 32 signature para. 32 signature para. T-shirt printed. Business cards. ID cards. Wedding invitations. Funeral invitations. Funeral posters. T-shirt printed. Pen and pencils. They do logos. They go billboards. Go to 32 signature apparel. They are located in South Centreso near ARS Church. No 32 signature apparel printing just go there. You can give them a call on 0244-617307. No 32 signature apparel 0244-617307 or 020-102-3790. Thank you so much. My name is Royal King. Till we meet again. Morning chat. Thank you so much. Stay blessed.